Hey, Mark.
Hey, Adam.
Hey, I got a question for you, buddy.
Okay.
How's your ego?
If you ask my wife.
Yeah, I want to get into the ego. I want to talk about emotion and emotional mastery on this episode. What do you say?
Let's do it.
All right.
Every day is filled with choices. You're here because you're choosing to start with a win. Get ready to be inspired, learn something new, and connect with the Win Nation.
Today we're talking about emotional intelligence.
We are. It's fascinating. I get to spend a lot of time on the stage, giving keynotes, things like that. And in the process, I get to ask a lot of questions of people. How are you doing? And it's fascinating because you don't hear people. There's two things that people come at you with. The first one is when they want you to give a keynote, when they want you to talk to their company, their business, they're like, how do I make more sales? How do I get more leads? Whatever it might be. But it's funny because we go down that road for a little while and then I stop and I go, how are you doing? Are you happy? How are your emotions? Are you treating your people well? Do you feel like you're treating your people well? Do you feel like you're leading from the heart or do you feel like you're leading from the spreadsheet? And it's fascinating because
it's like that record scratch, like,
totally.
Wait,
yeah,
I wanted the silver bullet. Why are you asking me these personal questions?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, that'd be a good sound effect to throw in here. But what we end up doing is we get broken down internally in our own emotions as people, as humans, and that translates over to other people. And then we lose track, we lose capability of emotionally dealing with a situation. And when you lose emotional control, nothing ends up well. It's horrible because you just look around and you watch people that have emotional breakdowns. They might be your kids, your teenagers, your spouse, yourself. I'll tell you, a lot of people had some emotional breakdowns and continue to do so during the pandemic. And it's fascinating. But when you take a step back and analyze that and go, okay, how do I be okay emotionally? How do I find a happy place for my heart and my head in order to have greater relationships, greater business? We come down to essentially emotional mastery. How do we master our emotions? I've also heard it put emotional brilliance, things like that. But ultimately what this is a combination of two things that I want to break down here real quick. One is emotional intelligence and the other one is emotional maturity. So you down with that, Mark? Should we get into those?
I'm so down. Let's do this.
Okay, let's talk about emotional intelligence first.
Okay.
Emotional intelligence has a whole bunch of different definitions. You can go into psychology and read about it and things like that. But ultimately it's empathy. It is you recognizing other people's feelings and recognizing your own feelings and how those two things fit together. And we only have really two emotions in our life. The two emotions that you function from are fear, which is our default emotion, and love, which is our intentional emotion. Okay, so fear, default, love, intentional. Fear is fight, flight, or freeze. Fear is us as human beings naturally trying to stay alive. We've seen something we don't know about, we're unaware of. It surprises us. We're intrigued by, but we don't have an answer to. We don't know what's going to happen around us or to other people or whatever. So we go to fear, which is fight, flight, freeze. And that's typically where people go. If you're operating from fear, you're not able to master your emotions, period. We've seen it. There are fear mongers. There are fear brokers. There are drug dealers that deal this drug of fear every day. Turn off the TV. Stop listening to the news on whatever radio station you're on or anything like that. Go find something pleasant to listen to because none of that stuff is going to change your life, ever. Number one thing people want to do is they want to stop loss in their lives.
Right.
It's been proven time and time again in studies. If you're an investor in stock and at 2 a.m, your stockbroker calls you and says, hey, I think we might want to buy this. It might be good for you. You'll get angry at them. But at the same time, if they called you at 2 a.m. and says, hey, we need to sell this, otherwise we're going to lose our rear in this, you're like, sell, thank you for calling me.
Right.
Because we want to stop loss. That's just what it is. It's fear. It's a fear response. Okay? Natural. We said we have fear. The other one is love. Love is unconditional giving. And so it's a give back and forth. You're giving, somebody's giving back. You're giving, somebody's giving back. Approach with love. So what we need to do is we need to take a look at where are we at emotionally and utilize that in our empathetic approach. So smile and give to that relationship. Smile and give instead of giving excuses. So that's emotional intelligence, is empathy, giving unconditionally and caring about the other people, caring about their results. And that's the foundation for leadership there. Now let's talk about emotional maturity here. Emotional maturity. Best way to put that is choice management. Choice management. What the heck does that mean, Adam? How do I manage my choices? Well, first of all, take a look at what your choices are. You have choices every day, but you open your eyes in the morning, you have a choice to make. What is that choice? Oh my gosh. Do I push back, fight against the things that I know are sitting there waiting for me? Or do I get excited about going and knocking them out and doing them? First choice you have really is, do I make my bed when I get out of it?
Right.
Do I brush my teeth? Do I take my vitamins? Do I let the dog out? Whatever I do I get dressed? Do I go sit down and write or journal for a few? Do I send a couple loving emails or messages to people? What are your choices? What are your choices? Your choices determine your results. Okay? Guess what? You're in control of what happens to you during the day. People are like, what if I get hit by a bus? Okay, I'm sorry. Some things happen. What if I get cancer? I'm sorry, some things happen. But have you done everything you possibly can in life to create good choices? But what if we own our choices? What if we own those? Because then what you're doing is you're de-risking your ego by owning your choices, right? Your ego is what fights back against those things, not your reality. Your reality is it's going to happen regardless. But own your choices and try and make it a positive outcome. There's going to be a result either way. You can't run from decisions in life. You have to make them. But what prevents us from making those? Fear. Fear of failure. It's okay to have things fail, but it's not okay to not try. But it's also not okay to sit and watch and hope something different happens, because ultimately, guess what? You get the results either way. You know, we're talking about accountability here. You're accountable for them. But what is accountability not? It's not condemnation. It's observation. Mm-hmm. And if we observe these things, our ego's okay with it. The reality is, if you de-risk your ego, there's no risk to it at all. And when you, as a leader, if you de-risk the egos of those that you lead, your job as a leader is to build leaders, by the way. Your job as a leader is to teach other people to recognize emotional intelligence and emotional maturity and function properly without an ego, so that they de-risk how hard that is for somebody that fails and let them learn from that failure. So that's what we have to think about with our emotions. And the number one thing that you can tell a leader, based on all this, and I'll wrap it up with this, Mark, is this. Leaders, control your emotions, your emotional intelligence, and your emotional maturity. That's what I got for you.
I love that. Hey guys, thanks so much for listening to Start With a Win. If you'd like to ask us a question and potentially get that question played on the episode, leave us a message at 888-581-4430. And then if you want more great content, you can head over to Start With a Win. There's downloads, PDFs, a lot of great stuff on there. You can also watch us if you want to watch this episode. And if you're paying for YouTube Premium, you can listen to the episode and then watch when you want. Go to YouTube, subscribe, and then follow Adam on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. A lot of great motivational content we're putting out there. There's always something great coming. So, hey, you guys, we appreciate you. And until next time, start with a win.
Kind kind of groovy music to lead us into the YouTube portion of this.
I know. Yeah, the people who stuck around for the after party.
Welcome to the after party.
That's right. The after party.
I don't have any theme music for this after party here. I don't know.
Yeah, the thing I love about the YouTube aspect of it is like I said in the outro, you can actually, if you're paying for YouTube Premium, which allows you to not have ads, you can actually listen in the background. So you can like hit play and then you can close the app down, or close your phone down or whatever, and you can listen to it, which is awesome. But then there's always some gem or something. We did Jay Bear a few months ago, and he wasn't wearing pants on the interview, and he like stood up and showed us that he was not wearing pants, and so
he had shorts on for the record here.
Yeah, he did have a clothing item on, but they just weren't pants. But you don't get that, if you don't subscribe and you don't get notified when these behind the scenes episodes take place. So Adam, I got a question for you.
Okay. What do you got for me, Mark?
What is your? I know that you go to Arizona to relax and unwind and things like that. What do you like to do when you're there? I mean, are you a golfer, or you don't really seem much of a golfer guy to me, but I could be wrong.
I'm horrible at golf, Mark, and I can tell you I haven't played golf in at least a year. So and it's funny. I was talking to my friend Darren Hardy, and he goes, you can always tell a great executive because they're a horrible golfer. I mean, how do you carve out 5 hours of your day to go golf, for crying out loud?
Right.
I have to work. I go to Arizona for a change of scenery.
Yeah.
And instead of, okay, let's go to the Grand Canyon, let's go to the cactus forest or whatever, all that stuff. I don't actually do those things. This pandemic has taught me one thing, that you can work from anywhere. Unless you're standing face to face with a customer at a counter or a cash register, you can pretty much work from anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do like that pattern interrupt from time to time. If you go somewhere else, I do have in-laws that live in Phoenix, and so we go down there quite a bit. And it's just nice. I mean, I love Colorado. I mean, Colorado's probably top 5 in the world. But it is nice to get that pattern interrupt. But anyways, hey guys, thanks for sticking around. YouTube, we love you guys. Please subscribe. Click that thumbs up on this episode, because that will then push the algorithm to recommend it more and share our content out there. And then make sure to hit that bell icon so when this episode gets released, you'll get notified. So anyways, hey, stay fantastic. We'll see you later.